myself what I'm going to be. Okay, interesting. Okay, I'm ready. Good. Okay, so I'm going to first start with the exam under anesthesia. With any procedure, I'm just feeling and assessing the size shape of the uterus to make sure I have good access to the side wall and the pelvic arch. Once that's done, then I can actually move on to the procedure. I'm going to place a single tooth speculum onto the cervix. Typically, I like to do two, but in this case, I'm just going to do one. I'm going to move the cervix up and down to really try to delineate the cervical-vaginal junction here. And then, is there a rate? There's no rate tag. Okay. Just get rid of push this up. Okay. Typically, I would use a knife or there's a rate tag here, so I'm going to just push that junction. Well, I also typically like to either use a lidocaine or a vasopressin to hydrodissect. I'm going to pretend I've done that. And then either with a Govee or a knife, in this case with a pair of scissors, I'm going to be making an incision circumferentially around the cervix, making sure that I'm not going too high and actually going back further posteriorly than anteriorly. Let me see here.
Go above the
for the model's sake, go right above that. Okay.
I think the angle of this is really important. Didn't really want to enter anteriorly quite yet. Did I just enter? Oh, I guess that. Here. After making an incision circumferentially around the cervix, I would typically what I would like to do is open up a rate tag completely, moisten, and push the peritoneum back until I can get to that area. I feel like I've already entered a little bit here. There's actually okay. I think entering posteriorly typically is easier. And I think I've actually already entered posteriorly.
I don't think you. This is a model question, right?
You can't use the rate tag.
Right. We're gonna take the rate tag.
Okay. Because I'm pushing everything away.
Correct.
So that, I see. That's person.
Yeah.
Got
Yes.
it. Okay. I had a difficulty identifying that. Okay. So then I'm going to use pickups and. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to pull this back. When it bubbles out of me, I'm going to enter posteriorly. With the scissors, I place one finger above my scissors, and then if you could have a right angle retractor, or I guess it's scissors retractor. Thank you. Oh, cool. Okay, so that's cool. If I had a suction, I could also check to make sure that I'm entering posteriorly. I'm feeling the psoas of the uterus, which I feel, so I know that I'm entering posteriorly. Okay. Next, I'm going to use a Heaney to get the uterus circles. I can palpate it right here. And it's really important that I don't go too cephalad because I haven't taken down the anteriorly. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to curve up sharply so that I'm not grabbing anything like the bladder. It's actually a little bit of a partner too, but it's fine. Is there a time? Would you mind holding the heating thing? Okay. Let me grab that from here. Okay. So then I'm putting the stitch at the tip of the, at the tip of the Heaney, straight through. That's really important to actually grab here and then behind the Heaney. If you could hold that again, thank you. That's not a pop off, right?
It is a pop off.
It is a pop off. Give it down. Okay, and then as that comes, if you could then release the Heaney. Thank you. And I'm cinching it down. time. And I like to hold this for uterus application later. So I'm going to grab a density curve cryo. Yeah. Just like that. And down there. Next I can grab the other side. Again, I'm making sure I have the uterosacral. And then just turning my wrist like this so that I don't grab the bladder because I haven't taken that down yet. When I'm cutting this, I'm making sure I have enough of a pedicle, that I'm not cutting too close to the clamp. Thank you. I could ask you to hold that again. Thank you. Okay, as I cinched down, if you could let go, please. Release. Great. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to assess whether I can enter anteriorly or whether I need to take more bites. Let's do uterine actually like that. So I can assume that I pushed back on this. I can see the peritoneum there. I'm going to grab, I think grabbing with an Alice also works pretty well. In this case, I'm going to use a pickup and medicine bomb. And with the curve of the medicine bomb pointing down, so I'm not poking up into the bladder, I'm going to pick up the peritoneum, elevate, see that nice clear bubble, and enter. And again, I'm going to put just like posteriorly, I'm going to place my finger through the hole that I've made. And then place the right angle retractor above or below my finger, actually. Okay, I could ask you to hold that up, please. Thank you. So now I can take my Heaney. And now when I do my Heaney, I can go from the posterior peritoneum up to the anterior peritoneum and be confident that I'm not getting the bladder. So actually, I think I've already taken my cardinal with that last part. So now I'm going to take the uterine artery. So I'm going to go from the posterior and swing my clamp around, make sure I grab the anterior. I want to get the ureters. Oh, and then with the Heaney, it's really important to clamp all the way down. Not doing that. Okay, and then I'm going to cut the pedicle, again with leaving a lot of tissue on the pedicle. Stitch, please. Thank you. And then, so when you're doing stitch through the Heaney clamp, there's multiple ways of transfixing and things like that. With this vascular pedicle, I'm going to first go through the tip of the Heaney, swing my needle around, and do what's called a body transfixation. So I'm going to go through the tip here. Then I'm going to make sure that this guy goes down this way. This guy goes on the other way. So I'm basically moving the suture around the tip. Should have cut a little bit more, I think. Okay. You could hold that for a minute, thank you. That's slipped. Okay. Again, if you could let go of the clamp and off. if you've done this correctly, there should not be massive bleeding at this step. Cup, please. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. Going from the posterior peritoneum way over here, all the way to the anterior. Oh, the uterus. The uterus are so close. Another really important point is that whenever you have a pedicle in your Heaney clamp, that you're not moving the clamp way all over the place, because then you could avulse the pedicle and you would have bleeding everywhere. So it's important to keep the hand of the Heaney very still as you cut. And I can actually turn my tip of the scissors around and actually get really to the tip of the. Thank you. If you could hold that for me. Okay, off please. And then just put this on. Okay, so now that the uterine arteries are transected bilaterally, I know that if there are fibroids or anything above, if I need to bivalve, if I need to do myomectomy, I can do that now because there's going to be minimal bleeding. With this uterus, I think it's nice and small. Yes, I could get that to protect the bladder away. Okay, you could hold that for me. What I'm going to do is, and now with my Heaney bites, instead of being out here with the bladder away and protected by the retractor, I can actually grab a little bit more cephalad. And I'm going to stay within my last bite. I'm going to make sure I have my posterior peritoneum. I think that's retracted. Extend to the pedicle and the anterior. I can actually take. Okay. So you notice it's going straight up and almost straight up and down rather than perpendicular. Just describe it. So basically now I'm marching up my broad ligament. I think we're the uterus. Okay, stitch break. Off. Okay, so I'm going to similarly reach towards this guy. Oh, I don't think I would actually try something else completely. Okay. So grab both anterior and posterior peritoneum. Stitch, please. Make one more incision, kneel down unprotected. Kneel down. Okay, please. Okay. Now I'm going to assess whether I can take the uterovarian and the round ligament together. It's over here, and the uterus is now down enough for me to do that. I think in this situation I'm going to use a Heaney, but you could also use like a long Kelly or like a tie loop, a tie on the pass. Let's see. So there's two there. That's the round. Oh, okay. So now I'm taking basically the round as well as I think the uteral variant, but this is the round. Okay. Okay. I think in this circumstance, I'm going to go through the middle of the Heaney clamp. Which am I holding this person? Please. Okay. So the uterus is now almost full. This guy now. And this way I will separate the specimen. If I could have one more stitch.
It's a really small needle now, so just don't try to do anything fancy.
Oh, stuff that like that. Okay, hold on, hold on. Put it down. Oh wow, really just. Okay, off please. Now you have to make sure that there is no bleeding from the pedicle. You could use a sponge on a stick, put it in and evaluate every pedicle to make sure there's good hemostasis, which I am seeing here. And now I can go ahead and close the cuff. Could have also tied the posterior hip again. Okay, I could get the stitch, thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the uterosacral on the left. I tagged it earlier, it's here. And then plicate it to the posterior. I'm going to the posterior peritoneum here. I'll go through the uterosacral on the right. And that way I'm providing some level of apical support. Okay. And all that's left to do is now close the vaginal cuff. One more stitch, please. Here, I'm going to go from, I'm going to close vertically. So, let's see. This is the vaginal skin.
Correct.
Right? Yes, okay. And this is the thing all the way over here. Oh, okay. So at the top, it's important that I'm not too greedy. I'm going to stay on the edge because the bladder could still be nearby. So I'm going to go fairly edgy at the apex here. Okay, could that come off, please? And I'm not going to lock this. I guess this should also go in. Okay, if I could get that cough, please. Okay. I'm not used to such a small suture. This part. So unfortunately it's broken. But,
Thank you very much.
Great.
Right.
Thank you.